OK, this is a Ref Watch Hour Long special. Let's turn our attention to the FA Cup. Now, we don't have the moving pictures for these incidents, but here's a still of the late drama at Wembley yesterday. Rob Jones awarding a penalty to Coventry for an Aaron Wan-Bissaka handball. You can see Dermot, he's running quite naturally. The arm's behind his back, but the penalty was given, Dermot. Was it a correct decision?
I didn't think it was a penalty, but this is what I talk about all the time, Rob, the complexity of the handball situation now. I say all the time, they've drilled down to get it precise. It's actually made it more difficult for the officials.
That one given correctly, yes or no?
Again, I think it's so harsh.
Yeah.
That was a full-back movement.
Yeah, of course it was.
No, I think it's harsh. I think it's when we were talking about the Ashley Young one, weren't we? It's, you know, you're in a running motion, it hits your arm, but it is so difficult for the referees because, yeah, do you give them, do you not give them if their arms are out? And I think when you show a still of an arm out, but when you show the moving pictures, then you can see that it is just a natural movement of a footballer.
The one thing you would say about that, as opposed to the Ashley Young one, is the distance the ball travelled. So that would also be on the referee's mind, whereas Ashley Young was very, very tight to the cross. That one came a lot further.
Yeah.
OK, interesting. I've just clocked that in here as well. Maybe for a little later.
I wonder why.
Coventry, had a marginal offside to deny them a late winner in extra time. It's a tough one for Coventry. They're already celebrating. It looked like they were through to the final. They're not used to having VAR in the Championship, are we? But VAR being used as it was intended to be here, sadly for Coventry and their fans. It
is sadly for the guy, because if he'd wore size 8 boots instead of size 10, he'd have been onside. But that's what VAR is about, isn't it? Is he offside? Is he not onside? It's factual. OK, let's go to the
penalty shootout. Now, Andre Onana got a second yellow card. It's been a strange week in that regard, hasn't it? The same happening to... we'll get on to this in a moment. Don't you worry about that. Let's stay with Andre Onana, though. A strange week in the guard. Emi Martinez, obviously in the Europa Conference League on Thursday. Explain this rule to us and why Onana, in this incident, won't be suspended for the final.
It's a bit of protection for the semi-finals of the FA Cup, isn't it? When you see a player sent off for a second yellow card, misses the final potentially. So it was an amnesty was given after the quarter-final, so the yellow cards are wiped out. So because he had this yellow card, came in stoppage time, it doesn't count for a totting-up suspension, so therefore he can play in the final.
So because it was in the penalty shootout, because what was interesting was he was given a yellow card originally for time wasting, and then went behind his goal again, picked up his water bottle and had another sip of it. Now, there was perhaps neutrals, perhaps Coventry fans suggesting that actually the referee at that moment was well within his rights to pull out another yellow card and send him off, because he just booked him for time wasting and then he went and time wasted again.
It was the same incident, wasn't it? So once you've stopped play and you've yellow carded him, you then restart play accordingly afterwards. So I think it's very, very difficult to sell that in the same incident.
Sue?
You're trying, aren't you?
He is trying.
Very trying. OK, we've just been warming up for this one. Another handball incident Saturday. Chelsea felt they should have had a penalty. Handball against Jack Grealish. He clearly moves his arm towards the ball. And in fact, to add insult to injury, Michael Oliver gives a goal kick for this one. So explain why Chelsea didn't get this.
What I will explain first of all is I had 60 texts about this on Saturday night, and every single one of them was from you.
I deleted the other 400.
I think this is another case where I said earlier, I wonder if, because it obviously strikes him, it goes out of play, the referee gives a goal kick. So he definitely doesn't see the ball strike Grealish's arm. On that basis, I wonder if the VAR could say, well, look, you obviously haven't seen this. Go to the screen and have a look at it. As I said earlier with the Ashley Young one, he can still hold his ground. He can still say, no, I don't feel it's out enough. But at least when he comes back, you might have only sent me 10 texts that night instead of 60 complaining. But I think it's more acceptable if the referee makes that decision.